Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode from the DePaul Internet Literacy Initiative. It's Brendan Peterson here again, and today I want to look at an example of fake news that wasn't immediately obviously fake news right from the get-go. And what I'm talking about is the Seth Rich conspiracy, is what it's being called now. But first, I want to review some of the questions that we've been talking about as we go through this. When it comes to fake news, number one, is there an author on a given piece? Two, who published the story? Three, what's the evidence? And four, who does the information affect? So without further ado, let's go to the original story that was run by fake news on their website. This is Fox News Politics. Seth Rich, a slain DNC staffer, had contact with WikiLeaks, say multiple sources. So this story was a bombshell in large part because of what it alleged, that Seth Rich, who was a 27-year-old DNC staffer, was murdered as a political hit outside of his house in Washington in March, I believe. Now, this conspiracy spread online for a little bit, but was pretty easily debunked early on. And to date, police believe it was more of a botched robbery than anything else. But this conspiracy recently resurged in May of last week when a private investigator by the name of Ron Wheeler, I'm looking for his name exactly, Rod Wheeler, seen here, went on Fox News and said that he was able to confirm that those emails from Seth Rich had gone to WikiLeaks. All right, so this is a story from Fox News written by reporter Malia Zimmerman. Now, Malia Zimmerman is an accredited, as far as accreditation goes, she is a reasonably respectable reporter. And fake news, particularly their written news in politics section, tends to be pretty cut and dry. When it comes to news and politics, you're always going to have a little bit of that conservative twitch, but more often than not, they're not making things up. So this was an accredited story, and that's why it made waves. However, I want to go back to what the evidence was, because that's kind of where this story stems. Rod Wheeler is a private investigative reporter who started off as a homicide detective in D.C. and recently went private practice. He made this pretty bombshell claim. I'm going to say that word a lot because it's appropriate for the story. But we can find out the story is fake news if we go into his background. So let's find a quick Google search found me this article. This is from a couple of years ago, actually. I believe from 2007, maybe. But a Fox News segment alleged in 2007 that, quote, pink pistol-packing lesbian gangs were terrorizing the nation. This is kind of an insane story, and it feels very dated, even just 10 years on. But when we look to see who Bill O'Reilly's chief expert was, we have, once more, Rod Wheeler. So we can see just from this one search that Rod Wheeler kind of has this history of making controversial claims. So right there, we should have some alarm bells ringing in one way or another. Sure enough, given a week, Fox News ended up retracting this story, and at the wish of the family and a lot of commentators who said that this story was more a conspiracy than it was a hard scoop. What's been interesting, however, is that Sean Hannity of Fox News has continued to push this story, even after reading a letter from the family on air to his audience. He said that he will still, quote, pursue the truth, and that he's closer to the truth than ever. This brings us to the why of our argument, or who does this information affect? If Seth Ritchie, a DNC staffer, really did give this information from the DNC to WikiLeaks, that takes the Russians out of the equation, as we know that the Trump administration is currently under investigation for a connection between Russian hackers and DNC links. So if Seth Rich theoretically filled that gap and took the Russians out of the equation, there would be no Russian collusion. So that's just one case in which we can see there's kind of a motivation to keeping the story alive, and it helps us determine that this story is, in fact, fake news. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time.